to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Dude, that's fair enough. Oh man. All right, I wanted to say no and not have a Kepi today, everybody, but Jay says we should still do one.
I think we should do one for both games.
You want to do one for both games? Are you sure about that?
Well, yeah, let's try it. Okay, let's start with Calgary. I'll do my Kepi first. Elvis.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware
that he still had over a 900 save percentage.
That you could get over a 90% save percentage in a game that you give it up 6 goals.
Well, when you give up 62 fucking shots, and we'll get to that.
We should do a Kepi Keeper for the Flames that game. Good God. Here's Kepi Keeper for the Flames. Who deserves it?
Mac Chuck.
Everyone.
Yeah. Specifically Mac Chuck.
Johnny Gaudreau had 3 assists. Michael Backlund had a goal, but he also had 8 shots on that.
Elias Lindholm had like his 400th point, I believe. Like,
he's a good player.
Elias Lindholm is very, like, I can't call him underrated, but we still don't talk about him enough.
We don't talk about him enough. 100%. Yeah.
Sean Monahan is having
maybe
himself
not
a little bit of
underappreciated.
Underappreciated is a good word for Lindholm for sure.
Let me tell you how bad
Jake Markstrom.
Are you ready for how bad that game got?
God,
the true mark for how bad that game was. There's just one thing you need to see to understand how bad that game was. They gave up a goal to Eric Branson.
Right. Yes. That did happen.
That was the thing that happened. Elvis, it's not your fault.
No, he's getting Jay's Kepi anyway.
This is the only player who did anything of note.
At least for that game. I think I'm gonna do mine based off the Rangers game. And...
Well, I'm gonna do one for the Rangers game too.
Okay. All right.
But you go.
I think I'm gonna go with Sean again. Because he scored twice. Like, I didn't expect Sean Corelli to score twice.
Yeah, Boone even had 2 goals and an assist. But I think I'm gonna stun you with mine.
I will say Boone has been like absolutely Columbus's best player like all year.
Yes. I don't even think it's close.
No. I mean, he leads the team in points.
Second. Bjorkstrand would be second, but I mean, he's been by far and away your best player.
Well, yeah. Who's your surprise Ranger, Kepi?
Can I take a guess who it might be?
Take a guess.
Who would be a surprise?
Who would be a surprise? Gavin Bayreuther.
How'd you know?
Did I call it?
No.
That's
a surprise in terms of this is a player who I've been absurdly hard on.
Oh, yes. Guys, you've been hard on. I know you've been hard on Max. I know you've been hard on like Peak.
It's not a trick question. Who's the player I've been hardest on?
Patty?
No.
Wait a minute. I don't know why I can't think of it. Maybe it's because I took a nap and
you're still just waking up again into the swing of things.
A little bit, if I'm being honest, a little bit.
There is no player on this team I've been harder on than Jonas Korpisalo.
Right. Okay. Yes.
But he was outstanding. He stopped 33 of 36.
Well, we talked about this with Jonas, right? Where it's like he has these games where he just doesn't show up, and then he has games where he does everything.
Yeah, he's one of the most frustrating goalies because like, and the analytics show it to you too. Like,
Well, yeah, we've talked about his
a lot of bad goals.
analytics way like enough.
He gives up a lot of bad goals. He's had a lot of bad starts. He's been a non-option for most of the season. He was damn good in this game. Damn good in this game.
Wasn't this one against Georgiev too? So it's not even like we can praise Igor.
Yeah, they wanted to save him for the next night, and they saved him for Henrik Lundqvist's retirement.
Yes, right.
and you
we'll,
know,
we'll talk about Henrik at the end of the show.
we got. I want to give the Rangers credit for honoring Henrik the way that they did, because there's no better way to honor Henrik than to let him down by losing 3-2 to Minnesota.
Oh,
Much like they did the entire course of his career.
We'll talk about Henrik at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got Sean, we got Elvis, and we got Jonas. Those are 3 Kepis for 2 games, and one game where literally nobody really deserved one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's our hockey team.
I know I said this team was regressing to the mean, and they're right now
That
like
was just purely mean. That was
was
mean of the Flames to do that to us.
yes, that was very mean.
It was mean of the Blue Jackets to make us watch that.
I watched the Hockey Guys video on like team expectations halfway through the year now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like based on how that's changed over the last, over the first quarter to now.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that now they're on the line of meeting expectations. Like we knew that this team wasn't really supposed to do much.
41 games through the season. If you told me we'd be 19-21-1, I would say, yeah. That's where I'd expect them to be. But again, as we talked about, I've
COVID, Patty was out with significant injuries.
Yeah. You take in injuries, you take in COVID, and
Jonas being as bad as he's been.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, the reason that people have been panicking the last couple of weeks is because it's a what have you done for me lately kind of league. Just as
pretty
most
much.
Sports. The 12-6 start doesn't do much for anybody.
I was going to mention the 12-6 start. Yeah, this team really kicked it into high gear to start the year and really defied expectations. And that change. This fan base is very, very reactionary with the way this team starts a season.
They are, and I get it, but you have to dig into the expectations in regard. But it's understandable if you think about it just from a pure math standpoint
and a casual fan standpoint, which this fan base mostly is made out of still.
Yes, but my thing is like, just think about it as a math equation. Okay,
mm-hmm.
You start off the season winning 12 of 18. You've now played 41 games. You have 19 wins. That means you've won 7 games out of your last 23.
Right.
That is that's an area where I understand the frustration, because there's a lack of consistency with the team.
Well, it does not help that this team, they've lost plenty of close games. They've lost plenty of 1-goal, 2-goal games. But then you have
game 6-0 to Calgary where they gave up 62 shots too. It's like they're.
I was gonna say you have games like this game against Calgary. You have games like the 7-4 loss against Carolina. You have games like the 9-2 loss against fucking Florida, which Carolina, Florida, Calgary, these are all teams that have been above their expectations or have, in the case of Carolina, Carolina's met their expectations. Calgary and Florida are way above their expectations.
And Florida didn't have. It's not like those two teams had low expectations.
No.
Calgary was expected to probably be a bubble team. They played way above that. Florida was expected to be a team that is either a bubble team because of how good the Atlantic Division is at the top with Tampa, Boston, Toronto. But we still knew that they were good.
Yes.
I hate to ask this question because it's such a negative conversation to have, but at the end of the day, I almost wonder which one's worse. Was the 6-0 loss to Calgary worse, or was the 9-2 loss to Florida worse? Because I think the 6-0 loss to Calgary was worse.
Just from a
Because
pure
Florida
numbers.
is just a good team.
Yes. And they just didn't, like, against Florida, they just really, that was a team that didn't really show up. That was a Blue Jackets team that didn't show up. This Calgary game.
Yeah.
This Calgary game, 22 shots is average, fairly little under par, but like respectable still, I guess.
I guess I don't know. I wouldn't consider that. To me, it's like it's giving up 62 shots. It's like, damn, you just.
But when if you take into account giving up 62 shots, you gave up more than a shot per minute on average. Like that's the kind of workload that Elvis was dealing with, guys. This defense did not do a damn thing to help him out.
No. And like the other thing is, like, let's look at Florida. Like they give 51 shots in Florida. It's not as bad, but it's still not good either.
No.
I mean, damn.
It's a young team. We get that. They're the second youngest team in the National Hockey League behind the Devils. We get it. There's a lot to learn with this team, but
that's where my frustration is with the team, because it's like, you know, we mentioned how like they're young, and it's true, they're young. We know that. We don't have the expectations that they're going to be a playoff team. We're in a rebuild. We get that. It's a first-year coach. I understand that.
Yes,
there are teams that are just playing better than us. Florida's unbelievable. Calgary's having a great year. God, you lose 5-2 to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's unbelievable. Like, we get it. Like, you look at any game, okay?
Yeah,
I understand that, but you know, I do pay attention to the Devils to an extent because I have a lot of friends who are Devils fans.
Right.
I don't see them giving up 62 shots a game that often, or 51, or anything like that. They're the youngest team in the league. Every team in this league has injuries. Some have more than others, but everybody has to deal with their.
Everybody's had COVID problems. Look at the fucking Islanders. Look at the Canadian teams.
COVID problems, injuries, all that shit. It bothers me how inconsistent the team is, because it's like every time they have a setback like this, they do come back and win. But it's like, why the hell are they doing this all the goddamn time? Why are you giving up 51 shots to Florida and giving up 9 goals? Why the hell are you giving up 62 shots at home to Calgary?
At home.
How good they are. The Rangers are a good team. You just beat them.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how good the opponent is. If you lose, nobody's gonna give a shit if you lose to a good team.
Didn't matter that it was Georgiev either. It was like, I don't care if it's Igor you're kicking the crap out of.
Yeah. We don't care. Like, I'm not so much concerned about wins and losses right now. We play Florida again at home on Monday. If they lose that game, I'm not going to be crying. If they give up 50 plus goddamn shots, though, and give up 6 or more goals, yeah, I will have a problem with it.
They have Montreal tomorrow, as of recording this.
That is a game where I do care about
winning. In Montreal.
I absolutely care if they win or lose that game.
If you can't beat the Montreal Canadiens, which, okay, I saw a tweet from Eric Engels that was quote tweeted by our buddy Mark Scheig. They're getting Paul Byron and Brendan Gallagher more than likely back tomorrow, which those are 2 pieces that they need.
Yeah.
But with the way that Montreal's season's gone as a whole, if you don't beat the Montreal Canadiens, what the hell are you doing?
We've talked at length, maybe not in a while, but towards the beginning of this podcast when we started it.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been a long conversation about plus minus and its importance.
Yes.
I think it's a somewhat deceiving stat. I think it can tell you something in certain situations, but generally it can be a deceiving stat.
Yes. Especially with like defensemen for most teams.
Defenseman for good teams, defenseman for bad teams. If you play a lot of minutes, like it's going to be swayed by the performance of the team.
Shea Weber being fucking even in a 10-0 loss. Like
that's a telling stat. But I want you, as of right now, as you look at the Montreal Canadiens,
yes,
their leader in plus minus is Cale Clegg, who has played in 10 games for them.
Oh.
What do you think his plus minus is? He leads the team, by the way.
He leads the team. See, because I looked at the preview for this, and all I know is that Nick Suzuki is leading the team in goals, assists, and points. And he's a minus 18.
Yes. Josh Anderson leads in goals. He is minus 13. By the way, he's leading the team in goals. He has 8.
Nick has 8 as well. Nick has 8 goals, 24 assists.
Let's look at just tell me what do you think his plus minus is?
What's Clegg's?
He leads the team. What do you think his plus minus?
Minus 6.
No, it's not that bad. Not that bad.
He can't be a plus. I'll say that much.
He's not a plus.
Is he in minus 2?
Nope.
4.
He's even.
No way!
The leader of plus minus in the Canadiens
is even. Oh my God.
Now, as I mentioned,
this is in Montreal, so it's gonna be different. You know, but at the same time, you have to beat the Canadiens. With the way they're performing, you have to beat the Canadiens.
You just don't have an excuse of losing to. There's no excuse for losing to the Coyotes. There's no excuse losing to
Sabres.
The Canadiens. There's no excuse losing to Seattle, and good for them. They won 2-0 against them this season. Thank God for that. There's no. I'd say there's.
They beat the Penguins in extra time, dude.
I mean, it happens. Bad teams win games, but there's still no excuse for it.
Next 3 games are at Montreal, hosting Florida, at Washington. I'm scared.
Just one of those games. One of those games is all you got to do.
Just win the one tomorrow, and that's all we can ask for.
And then they play Buffalo February 10th. And as I say that, I should look for tickets.
I should look for tickets to Rick Nash night, because that's on a Saturday night. They are
hilariously expensive.
Oh, I'm sure they are, because it's Rick Nash night.
Yeah. So good luck with that.
Right. Maybe we could find a good deal on our regular seats, in our 118 seats.
Maybe.
You know, because we've gotten tickets at 118 in the exact same section, like 2 or 3 times now, my dad and I. And I told this story on the podcast before, our favorite usher.
Yeah.
It's such a good little section. If
you want to not mortgage everything to go to that game, you might be doing standing room only.
God. Plus, that's also Nick's return to Columbus.
That's true, because he never got his return to Columbus when he was a Leaf, did he?
No,
because they were only playing in Canada. So,
right.
Yeah, that's true. Damn, that's going to be an emotional night.
It's going to be crazy.
Sean Corrali revenge game.
Sean Corrali revenge game, please. That would be fun, though. That'd be really cool. Canucks. The Blue Jackets podcast about the Canucks and the Coyotes. We're talking about the Canucks.
What did they do this time?
They hired their general manager.
Oh yeah, they did. I was waiting for it to be something bad. Sorry.
You're just so used to Jim Benning.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he's not their GM anymore. But then again, Jim Rutherford's their president of hockey. So.
Yes, he is their president.
All right, here a second. All right.
How to get the lid, right?
All right, there we go.
So Patrik Allvin is the new general manager of the Vancouver Canucks. This literally just got announced a couple of days ago. Like, obviously, a lot of the stuff happens right in between shows, especially between the Tuesday and Saturday shows. And I mean, we even talked about it last episode. Like, are they going to do it now? Right? Mm-hmm. We speculated on who it could have been. We wanted it to be a former player.
Yeah.
Well, especially because we talked about Emily Castagnier last episode being named assistant general manager, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Patrik Allvin is a very interesting hire, I would say.
He was what, a player agent who's from.
So he was originally a player agent. He's from Sweden. He played mostly, like, he's a former player. He played mostly in the ECHL.
Yes.
He spent most of his career in Pittsburgh. He spent 16 of the past, 20 years in Pittsburgh.
Because he was originally like a European scout, and then he became the head of scouting for
He was
Europe.
their director of amateur scouting. And then he was an assistant general manager under Rutherford.
So that's the connection.
And then he was also interim general manager when Rutherford originally left.
Okay. So there you go.
So now he gets his big break with his old buddy Jim.
Yeah, no, I mean, good for him. I mean, he's definitely a guy who's had an influence over how they've drafted and performed. I mean, because you'd have to assume with his European background, if you look at it, I think it was either the 2013 or 14 draft, there are a couple years in a row where they got Ole Mata, they got Kasperi Kapanen,
Petty Bluger,
Asper Lundqvist. They drafted some of those good old Europeans. Because if you look from, I was after they hired him to be the GM, I just went through draft by draft to look at the Penguins and how they've drafted
all the European players. Yeah,
from 2006 to like 2012, they did not draft a lot of European guys. They stayed in Canada and the United States for a lot of it. But as they started to go more over Europe, you got more intriguing draft picks and players that you currently see on the roster, and players who've been involved in trades. They got Philip Hallander.
Oh, that's right. They did get Hallander from the Leafs.
Hallander in the second round. I think that was 2015.
I think he was involved in both Kapanen trades.
He was. Well, so he was involved in the first Kapanen trade.
Because they both went to Toronto. And then they both went back to Pittsburgh, right? Like...
There's a bunch of trades about. Was he? He was involved. He was involved in the Jared McCann trade.
Yes, he was.
So he was drafted by
Leafs legend Jared McCann.
So yes, he was drafted by Pittsburgh. He was traded with Kapanen to Toronto, I think. I don't know.
Can I just say Jared McCann's having himself quite the year, even though Seattle's not?
Yeah, no, you'd imagine that the Leafs could probably use him over Alex Kerfoot, but that's a conversation for another day.
A different argument.
Yeah,
I still love Kerfoot, but come on,
he's a good player. Just making sure McCann's a really good player.
Yeah. Patrik Allvin is also a really interesting hire to me because he is the second European general manager in the NHL's history, right behind. I think you know who the other one is.
Yes, a little bit of Yarmo magic.
Little GMJK.
And we're not talking about Just Kidding.
You fucking dab. That's the first time I've seen you dab on the show in like months.
Yeah. You have to do it after a horrible joke.
After something absolutely terrible.
Because it just makes it so much funnier. Like what I did objectively was not funny at all, and you were dying right now.
Just because of the fucking dab. But yeah, isn't it weird to you that these are the only two European general managers right now?
No. It should be weird, but it's not. It's the National Hockey League. Nothing.
Well,
weird.
yeah, fucking Boys Club Central.
Boys Club is not only is it just Boys Club, it's a predominantly United States or Canada Boys Club.
Yes, and it's we talk about the bad. We'll talk about more Boys Club like bad aspects, like we've always done.
Yeah.
But like,
trust me, it's a podcast of JJ Jackets. There's going to be a conversation about Boys Club.
Yeah,
every episode.
The recycling is always a very strange thing to me. How there's 32 jobs for both GM and head coach, and yet there's only 35 names in both pools.
You know what? Good for the Canucks are bucking some trends, aren't they? They go out and they get an older guy in Jim Rutherford. But granted, Jim Rutherford, well, we talk about Boys Club and this and that, and
he's still a very good hockey mind.
Exactly. It's not like Peter Chiarelli getting hired over and over and over again. This is a guy who's won 3 Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
This is a guy who helped build something in Carolina.
Wait, didn't he win all 3 with Pittsburgh too?
No, he won. So he won 1 in Carolina.
I remember the Carolina one. And
then he won 2016 and 2017.
Okay, I wasn't aware that he wasn't general manager of Pittsburgh in 2009.
That was Ray Shero.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's a name I haven't heard of in a while.
But yeah, no. So this isn't your typical you're getting recycled over and over again. No, this is a legitimate guy. This guy knows what he's doing.
This is a really good move.
He's hiring new. He brought in a female assistant GM. We've never seen. He brought
in Rachel Dory to the analytics department.
Yeah, and then he brings in the second ever European general manager and a guy who's never done this job before. A guy who's done his dues. He's been in scouting for, like you said, almost 20 years.
Right.
Clearly, he hasn't been an assistant GM for a long time when he was named assistant GM in 2020.
An interim.
But clearly he did enough over that time and did enough as a scout to make Jim Rutherford, who's been in this business for a long, long time, comfortable hiring him as GM. He feels like this is a guy that can do it.
You know who I think is a guy who's really excited about Patrik Allvin? Yarmo for one, but that's not who I was going to say.
Elias Pettersson?
Tim McAuliffe.
Oh, wonder what Tim's up to.
Did you see that tweet?
I did not. I didn't.
Tim and Friends.
No, I didn't see it. What happened?
It's Tim being all excited, and it's literally just a picture of Tim in the studio, and then a picture of Allvin just smiling because they look like fucking twins.
I have to look because that sounds absolutely hilarious.
I can't remember if it was from I think it was the Tim and Friends account, but it could have been Tim's personal account. It was really, really funny.
But anyway, as far as Allvin's concerned, I think he's going to do a good job.
Allvin and the Canucks, man. When's their first album coming out?
You need to dab after that one.
There. I've literally almost never dabbed in my life. I think that was maybe time number 2.
He needs to do more of it.
I need to do more like Betty White dabs.
Betty White, don't make me sad.
I know.
Please don't make me sad today.
Well, you're going to get sad because we need to talk about your Sabres and a lot of dumb shit that's been going on in Buffalo.
Yeah.
First of all, we're going to talk about the Aaron Dell, Drake Batherson incident, which let me just say right now that I saw a tweet from Elliot Friedman today on the waiver wire. Aaron Dell is on it. I highly doubt anybody's going to claim him
Well, one, because he sucks. He's not a good goalie.
No. And
two, he got a suspension.
yeah, that the incident doesn't help him at all.
No.
When this happened, I'm trying to formulate how to talk about this. We were talking about it in the general chat on the SDPN Discord. We were talking about it in the game day chats. We were talking about it in the Sabres chat, in the serious hockey discussion chat. There's a lot of channels that we were talking about this in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lissa, our friend, the pickle queen, she posed a really good question when she shared a few of those links. When's the last time a goaltender got suspended?
It was just like a trivia question.
Yeah. And it was honestly, I want to say it was more than 10 years ago. It was like, I don't think it was Ray Emery, but it was like something along, it was a long, long time ago that a goaltender actually got suspended for supplemental disciplinary reasons. If you go and look at the hit,
think of like incidents where goalies did something
that was actually that brain dead.
Yeah.
Well, Marc-Andre Fleury going out to play the puck against Montreal for one. But that was more of like that was an actual hockey play and not something that was actually just stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe John Gibson interference on Kevin Rooney. Close enough. That didn't cause injury, but like, come on, John. What do you do? You're John Gibson. You don't have to do that.
So I looked it up.
Yeah. When was the last time?
We believe the last suspension of a goalie was in 2007.
Oh.
It was Jamie McLennan.
Oh. It was Noodles, huh?
Yeah. So it was against he slashed Johan Franzen in the leg and then in the stomach.
Oh.
And that was in the playoffs.
Oh no.
Suspended for 5 games. Damn.
I mean, murder's legal, but ew.
In the National Hockey League, it's legal.
Yeah. It was a weird elbow too, because he really just kind of right? He just kind of swung around and caught Batherson really bad. And we know that the fallout from this is the 3-game suspension that Aaron Dell is going to serve. Regardless of whatever roster he's on at this point.
Yeah.
He's serving that suspension, which most of us think it should have been more, because Drake Batherson is now out at least 2 months.
Oh my God, that sucks.
With an ankle sprain. Thank God it's just like a sprain, but still, it's like, oh.
He had a good season too.
He's having himself a hell. That's why he's Ottawa's all-star.
Yeah.
Or at least he was named their all-star, and now he's hurt, so he can't participate, which I guess we'll talk. Okay. Brady Tkachuk got named in his place, which good for Brady, but man, this sucks for Drake.
Hate the circumstance.
Yeah, it's especially because we talked about, like, you and I texted about this. Brady and Drake are like best buds. They carpool to the games together. And because Drake couldn't drive after the injury, Brady had to take him home. Damn.
So sweet of Brady. That's my captain.
That's a captain for you. A captain that got bit at least twice. God, I'm never getting over that shit. I'm not. No.
Did you see the hit that he had on Ryan Lindgren?
No.
Brendan Lemieux. It was filthy. He got thrown out of the game.
Oh.
He's a piece of garbage.
It's Claude's son.
Yeah.
I can't even say he because I like it works.
Runs in the family.
Runs in the family. And I mean, safe to say, like, at least the Kachuk brothers have skill.
Yeah, no, they have a lot of skill. Matthew and Brady are great players.
Yeah.
He was a great player.
Keith was a very good player.
But no.
And I mean, Claude was a good player in his own right, but at the same time, he was filthy.
Yeah, he was. And the one thing I can say at least about Claude Lemieux is I don't remember an instance where he bit someone.
Right. Granted, Claude was before our time.
But still, I've never heard a story of him biting somebody. So.
So yeah, Brady had to take Drake's place for the upcoming All-Star game. And it's just like this whole thing is unfortunate for the Senators, especially because like they're actually having, a lot of good storylines this year. Tim Stützle's looking good. Brady was named captain. Drake Batherson's doing well. Formenton's doing well.
Yeah.
A lot of the young guys that they were wanting to develop have been doing really well. Lassie Thompson, like when he's been in the lineup, he's been great.
He's the guy that got in the match exchange trade.
Yes, he is.
The more you know.
Yeah. But then the Sabres are now on a weird goalie carousel.
Like it's quite a hilarious carousel because like I was going through like the goalies, like who could they play? And the more I went through the names, I was like, we just need to stop and take a second to appreciate the list of these hilarious goalies.
Was Portillo like part of that? No,
because I was just going through like who do they have like on their rosters that they could play? Well,
they have UPL
Dell is suspended and now he's gone because they put him on waivers.
Dell, yeah.
So UPL, I'm pretty sure he's hurt right now, right?
I don't
hurt
know.
or COVID.
Something.
Takarsky is either hurt or has COVID.
Well, yeah.
Michael Hauser has COVID.
Oh, poor Michael. Oh.
Okay. Craig Anderson.
Craig is just now coming back.
Yes. I don't know what's going on with Malcolm Subban.
Yeah, that was weird. It's been weirdly crickets with Malcolm, hasn't it? Like after the Jordan stuff happened, I didn't even like. We got PK's statement, but I didn't hear a thing from Malcolm.
Yeah, neither did I. Is he on Twitter?
I don't know. I think he is.
I'd have to imagine he is, but
you would think, because most NHL players are, at least most young ones,
right? But no, it's just crazy. Just listening to those names, it's hilarious. just about those goalies. That's one of the funniest. Do you know what it reminds me of?
What?
And I'm going to switch sports here for a second, but it's like the most hilarious quarterback room of all time was 2017 with the Bears when it was Mitch Trubisky, Mike Glennon, and Mark Sanchez.
Oh. Ugh.
And I'm just like, Sabres goalie room. Takarsky, Subban, Hauser,
Craig Anderson,
UPL. Is there someone missing?
Maybe. Because I think I heard 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Total.
God.
Kind of like how the Canucks are going through it right now with their goalies too. And it's like, ugh.
But at least they have like,
actual depth.
Well, they have like some goalies that are like good. They have Thatcher Demko.
And you're a Halak. And
Halak is better than any goalie the Sabres have on their roster.
Yeah.
He's the backup.
Felt bad that they had to go all the way down to Mikey. At some
David
point,
had to go to Spencer Martin.
Spencer Martin's looked good, more or less. Like he's looked serviceable.
He had a good night the other night, didn't he?
Yeah.
The game was against the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah, good for Spence. So we talked the goalie carousel. We talked about Dell and Batherson and the fallout from that. God, I hope Drake gets better sooner rather than later.
Right.
Especially because the Sens are going to need him. even if they don't have playoff aspirations, like the Sens are really going to need him.
Well, just in like the development and everything like that.
What is going on with the glare in your window?
It's the sun. It's just like
it's just
like this.
It's just.
I'm trying to fix it. Again,
see that? Yeah, see, because like this is why I have both of my sets of blinds drawn.
No, this is going to get worse. No, that's as good as it's going to get.
At least it's not like Strobe, which helps me out. The one thing that we should mention before we move on to our friend Ken Holland is Owen Power could play by the end of the season, by like right around March.
Look at me. Look at me. I'm brilliant. I
hey, you got it.
Anyway, Owen Power.
He's a gaffer. He could play in March.
I mean, once the season's over for Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's common.
I mean, I get that that's common because like we've seen it with Cale Makar and a few others.
We saw Cale Makar. He didn't play in the NHL after, but we saw Zach go straight to Cleveland after and
right
play with the Monsters and help them win a Calder Cup. We saw Johnny Gaudreau do it with the Flames. Yeah, I mean,
I get that that's common, but it's just like, wow, okay, good. I guess let's go, Owen, man. Let's go.
I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I mean, first overall pick, finally getting his taste in like a little over a month.
And he's going to be given a lot of minutes. They're just going to throw it right at him immediately.
Oh, dude, it's going to be Power and Pysyk.
Do they want to throw Power with Pysyk, or do they just want to keep Dahlin with him?
Keep Dahlin with Pysyk?
This is a good pair.
I guess. I mean,
if you decide to keep Colin Miller, you could just throw him with him, but they might deal him. So I don't know what their
Power Miller, if they keep him, maybe.
Ooh, Power then, Miller.
Miller Power. Dude, we're gonna have so much fun with like power puns. Like
I already hate myself for this.
Oh no. What?
No, I already hate myself that we're making these jokes.
Oh, that we're making power jokes.
I can already see it. There's gonna be jokes about like,
dude, one of our first episodes was called Power Sabres. Are you kidding me?
He's gonna score his first NHL. I hope he scores his first NHL goal on the power play.
Please, oh my god.
The power play goal.
The power play goal. Hey.
I'm just gonna be like, ugh.
Imagine Rick Jenrick calling that. How legendary would that turn into? It would turn into the next Mayday.
It would.
Oh, come on, man. I thought you fixed that.
The sun shifts.
Right. The sun is an actual.
The sun does move. I'm doing my best
here. You're learning how to be a gaffer, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm smart.
Dude, when I had to do lighting in college, it was the worst.
I believe it. I hate doing that stuff.
It was crazy.
The sun sucks.
Yes. Night shift crew, everybody.
Yeah.
So we talked about the prospect that the Oilers were going to sign Evander Kane. They've done it.
Yes.
They signed him to a weird prorated deal through the end of the year. It's like they're only paying him a little over $2 million.
He got lucky there. They shouldn't even be paying him that.
No, they shouldn't even be paying him.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he shouldn't be in the league, but anyway.
How bad? Okay. Question: does this look worse on Ken Holland or Connor McDavid? Because Connor said he wanted it. Ken Holland signed the deal. We know what Ken Holland's been doing in Montreal, and we've laughed and we've cried. In Edmonton. God, imagine all the Red Wings fans I just pissed off by saying Montreal.
God, that's such a good question. I'd say it's. I feel like it's worse on McDavid.
Yeah. How do you think that reflects on him as a captain? Like,
I don't know. It's hard to because
you got to think about that kind of aspect too. Like, he asked for Evander Kane. He's the captain of your team. He is the biggest star in your league.
The biggest star in your league just told his general manager that he doesn't care
about the baggage that this player is bringing in.
Yeah. And I do want to address
they've already got enough of a toxic. I don't care that they've won like 3 straight. I don't care. They've got enough of a bad locker room as it is after the way their slump went.
Yeah. Here's what I've said.
Evander Kane's not going to fix that.
I'll say it again in case it's anybody's first time listening, or if you just want to be reminded of this.
That the Oilers are poorly constructed.
What?
That the Oilers are poorly constructed.
We know that.
I mean, belabor the point.
I am never, ever against anybody getting a second chance. But this is not a second chance.
No.
This is not a third chance.
It's not a fourth.
It's not a fifth.
No. This goes all the way back to like, dude, there was like
2013.
There was Buffalo issues.
He had issues in Winnipeg. He had issues in
There
Buffalo.
was the tracksuit thing with Dustin Byfuglien.
Yeah.
Which was weird in its own right.
Like, did you see what he said about his former teammates in San Jose, calling him a bad teammate? The spin zone he had was unbelievable. It might actually be the greatest spin zone I think I've ever seen in my entire life, but it's still, just absolutely ridiculous. So,
what, his last talking head where he was like, literally, I had no problems with anybody and nobody had problems with me?
What he said was, let's see if I can.
He literally, in his last interview, was just doing the most like deflective answers possible. And his introductory press conference, we know for players that those really aren't the most important thing. They're mostly just gobbledygook, scripted BS. We get it. He says he's going to change his image. I can't see that. Dude, I can't see him
at some point, what are I ask this question all the time when it just comes to production of players, but I think this goes into human interaction as well. At what point are you just who you are?
We talked about this with the Subban stuff. We talked about this with the Boko stuff. We talked about this with Mitchell Miller. We talked about this with literally any controversial player or prospect that we've talked about on this podcast. At one point, are you who you are? Because
this guy, he came forward, and I don't have the actual quote, but I'm just going to paraphrase what he said. He said that, it's a testament to how bad the situation was in San Jose, how bad the locker room and culture was in San Jose, that they would say those things about him, which I thought was just absolutely hilarious. I thought it was laughable. Guy does bad things, is a part of a bad culture, and says players who call him out for bad behavior are the cause of bad culture.
Mm-hmm. It's accountability. It's accountability. It's a lack of accountability is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, dude, how many times have we went over this with other things?
Hey, we talk about a lot of players with this. I will never have an issue with people getting second chances in life. But at some point you draw the line. At some point you are who you are.
Let's turn a slight gear and talk about, I guess, the hockey aspects of it. I guess. Because it's like,
he's a power forward who you can play in your top six. He's a good player.
He is a very good hockey player.
He doesn't help with the Oilers' struggles, though. The struggles are in net and on defense.
We've talked about this. They need depth. They need depth forwards.
They need depth forwards. They need better defensemen. They need goaltending. So what do they do?
Do they do
Evander Kane?
I heard the SDP guys talk about this when I watched their clip on this. They were thinking like a couple possible line combinations could be like Kane, Connor, Hyman once Zach comes back, or like Kane, Leon, Yessie.
I'd have to imagine
because he's not good. I doubt he's going to play with Nuge.
He's probably going to play with David.
If Nuge is going to be your third line center, I doubt he's going to play with Nuge. He wants to play with Connor and Leon.
Just load up the top line. I mean, you could put Nuge with Zach Hyman and Jesse Puljujärvi.
Right, make that your second line and do like.
It's a good second line. I mean,
and do like Leon, Connor, Evander.
I think. So we're just talking hockey now. We're just talking lines. We're not talking about...
and we've talked about how we're not the only two schmucks that believe that Connor and Leon need to play on separate lines in order for the Edmonton Oilers depth to work to its best.
Do you know what I think is something that they desperately need to figure out? They need to get Kyler Yamamoto going.
Yes, they do.
So adding Evander Kane, I think, is an opportunity to put together lines that can help you do that. This guy has 14 points this season. He's got equals 14 points in 39 games. It's not good enough. They need more out of him. Yeah. He is he's ninth on the team in scoring. He has less points than Nurse, Barry, Bouchard, Hyman, Puljujärvi, Nuge, and then obviously Leon and McDavid. So you know that you've got a good second line center in Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. You can also put him on the left wing.
You can put him on the third line, like we've been trying to for years.
That might actually be their best solution.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Center depth of McDavid, Leon, Nuge.
Yeah, so I would do that split down the middle. And then on your wing, you could put
Kane and Hyman, Kane and Yessie, Kane and Kyler.
I'm thinking for line one with McDavid, you do Kane and Hyman. Okay. And then on the second line with Leon, I would do Yessie and Kyler.
Okay. And then who plays
I
with
would
Nuge?
help get Kyler going. And then
yes, it would.
Nuge, you can put him with anybody. You can put him with Cassian and Fogle.
Those three actually do sound like a pretty fun line, if I'm being honest.
I think that's a good top 9 to have. But then again, as I've said multiple times, that's fine. Those are good. Those are 3 really good lines.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve their other issues.
No, it doesn't.
At the end of the day, at the deadline, they still got to figure out, get a defenseman.
They got to get a defenseman. They got to get a goalie. And like Stuart Skinner is okay. Mikko's almost a non-option anymore. Mike Smith
he's been playing better, but
he's been playing better, but he's still just like, come on.
at the end of the day, I agree with you. Like,
And Mike Smith is fucking 40.
You can't go into a playoff series with your two goalies being Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith and tell me that they have a legitimate chance at winning.
No, you can't. I don't care.
Let alone be competing for a cup.
It does not matter. One, what did we talk? What's our analogy? One waffle does not a sandwich make. What
is that it?
I think it's something like that after the whole waffle sandwich debacle.
I still have no idea what I did wrong with that, but
one player does not a team make, and you can't expect Connor, and even with Leon, you can't expect either of those guys to just carry you all the way through.
No,
or else they're gonna fucking die.
It's not sustainable.
They're gonna die.
Who do we always compare this team to in terms of how they had to construct it? We compare them to the Penguins. Why? Because you got generational talent, first overall pick, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby. You got your second in command, who's also really good, Leon Draisaitl, Evgeny Malkin.
Yeah.
But what did the Penguins do when they won their first Stanley Cup and when they went back to back? Well, they had so much depth throughout the lineup. Look at 2009. They also had Jordan Staal. Right?
They had Jordan Staal. They had.
You got those three together, but who else did they have on that team? Well, they also
Chris
had
Letang, Marc-Andre Fleury,
Chris Kunitz, Pat. They Tyler Kennedy.
Tyler Kennedy.
He was a good playoff performer. They had guys all throughout the lineup. Sergei Gonchar, Alex
Gonchar
Bogas.
was there. Yeah. Was Hossa on that team?
He was on the 2008 team. That lost. Right.
Oh.
But still, Marian Hossa was a good player. They had him in 2008 when they almost won. And even just look at them in 2016-17. They also had Phil Kessel. They also had
Nick Bonino. They had Carl Hagelin. Yeah.
Justin Schultz helped out offensively on the blue line as well. Like they were loaded throughout the lineup.
Matt Murray when he was good. By the way, did you see? I texted you the fucking Matt Murray pick from the. Apparently, it was dude. Apparently, it looked a lot worse than it really was. It was just like a lighting thing.
Oh God, I hope so. I mean, he looked
a bad
like
camera. He looked. He looks
I'm not
like
talking about the music.
He looked like Gilbert Gottfried, if I'm being honest with you.
A little bit. I can see it. I mean, that was rough. It was rough.
He looked really, really rough.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that the Oilers have to do to get this fixed.
Do we say good luck, Evander?
No.
Because it's like, we know he's playing.
I'm wishing luck for? Oilers fans.
Oilers fans, absolutely.
That's who I'll wish luck for.
Because you gotta sit through this now. And the fact that your management team went and did this is bad.
Do you know what's hilarious about the Oilers?
Mm.
They so clearly, as an organization, do not care about the consequences of actions of people.
No, they don't.
But they do it in a way that sucks.
Right.
It would be one thing if a player who was very, very good had these issues and it was at a position that they needed. All the stuff that happened in the offseason with the Chicago Blackhawks, they needed help on defense, and they were like, you know who we should get?
Seth Jones.
No, I was just talking about the Oilers. Duncan.
Yeah.
Duncan Keith.
Cody Ceci.
Was really old. Like, they went out and they got two pieces who were kind of controversial with some of the things that have been happening in the couple months. And one of them's a good player who doesn't fill their need. And one of the needs that they have, they got a player who sucks at it now.
Well, I mean, yeah.
If you're going to go out and make these decisions, could you at least be good about it? Like at least when Tampa Bay went out and got Antonio Brown, you could understand it. They won a Super Bowl with him.
Dude. Ken Holland.
He just doesn't get it.
All I have to say is Ken Holland, and most of you will get it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you don't, look at his track record, and you can see his track record in the 90s and the early 2000s and say, oh my God, this guy is fantastic. But then you got to remember that that's 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm. What is the phrase I love saying on here all the time? It's two statements can be true at the same time. And I've said this about Ken Holland. I'll say it again. He had an unbelievable run with the Detroit Red Wings.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also old.
And he ran them into the ground.
He ran them into the ground, and the game has passed him up. He's not that guy anymore.
No, he's not. And to have him at the helm with
run the Oilers into the ground, and it's only a matter of time that they have to fix things by trading one of McDavid or Draisaitl.
I think Leon asks for it.
I think
Leon is the type of player that would say, "Fuck you, I'm done. Get me out of here."
Yeah, Leon would definitely ask for a trade before Connor would.
Yes,
in my opinion.
We said this you said it last show. You know, Connor sounds like a very loyal player.
Yeah.
Good luck, Oilers fans.
We're wishing you luck.
Yeah, very, very trying time. Old flame Jeff Carter that all of Columbus loathes signed a 2-year extension in Pittsburgh.
I'm going to say something that Blue Jackets fans aren't going to like. Okay.
Say it.
It's 2022. Get over it.
Pretty much.
It's been 11 years. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah. You can still boo. We can still boo Jeff Carter all we fucking want.
You can boo him all he wants. He plays well. I honestly don't care. Like, I was upset when it happened. Of course I was. Of course I was hurt by him. Of course it took me a while. But I don't care anymore. I don't.
Jake is back. Like,
I don't look at him and get angry. I don't. It happened 11 years ago. Get over it.
He's been awesome.
He's been very good for the Penguins. Very good.
When they had both, didn't they have him out too at some point without Malkin and Crosby?
They did. Talk about the Penguins as an organization. We talk about what a model organization they are. God, they turned him around too, because he was old and way past his prime and everything.
And now he's playing on Gino's left side.
And they revived him. They brought him back to life, man. He's been amazing for him. And
well-deserved contract. I thought I had the terms up. It's somewhere, but
it was, what was it, like 6.25 over 2?
Cap friendly
of 3.125 over for it.
Oh my God, please. John Merrill signed a contract. Jeff Carter. Here we go. Length 2 years through 23-24. Full no move clause. Cap hit of 3.125 for both years. So a total cap of 6.25.
Wow, look at me. I remember details correctly.
Base salary of 3.25, then 3. And it's, there's no signing bonuses. It's all in his base salary.
I mean, he's made a lot of money throughout his career, so he doesn't even need the signing bonus.
Well, no.
So, I mean, good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Fans, get the fuck over it.
Yeah. Still boom when we played the Penguins, of course. But, like,
I guess. I'm not going to. I just don't have the energy for it. I don't care.
The butt hurt is a little, it's a little much anymore.
It is.
Question: how do you think the Coyotes are going to play in a 5,000 seat arena? That's not even a 5,000 seat arena.
Probably the same as they do in an 18,000 seat arena. That's always empty.
Dude. Okay. So they're looking at playing at the rink at Arizona State for like a temporary home while they're trying to negotiate with Tempe.
Mm-hmm.
They need this negotiation with Tempe to fall like to work before they can even go over there to play. And they're looking at playing over there for 3 to 4 years. They can't seat enough people to run the team with how they need to renovate that place for an NHL team. Because you need locker rooms, you need suites, and that takes away seats. That's already a 5,000 seat arena.
What I saw is it would bring the capacity from 5,000 down to 3,200.
Steve said it best. This team doesn't fucking exist anymore. Dude, if they can't seat more than like tier 2 junior leagues in Canada,
that's sad.
They're a team that doesn't fucking exist.
If they play in an arena that can only seat 3,200 people, they're playing in an arena that can only sit 1,200 more than Canisius does.
Bowling Green can seat more than 5,000 people. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it's embarrassing. It is very embarrassing.
It's the most embarrassing thing in the world. And we've already talked about, like, literally how much of a dumpster fire has this team been financially in terms of just, we don't have the money, somehow we have the money now to pay all of our taxes and all of our bills and all of our rent to the arena. And
God, them not being able to pay their taxes feels like a fever dream.
It does, doesn't it?
Slater Family Ice Arena sits exactly 5,000.
There you go.
That's sad.
Dude, it's a good hockey program.
No, not for Bowling Green. I'm talking about like the Coyotes.
The fact, yeah.
No, 5,000 is good for Bowling Green.
Yeah. Orange and Brown fans show up in droves, dude. I
mean, I don't know what more we can say about the Coyotes. It gets worse and worse by the month.
It's getting, I remember, like, it's not even enraging anymore, but it's just like they don't exist. What do you do?
They're just there.
It's purgatory. You know what it is?
It feels worse than purgatory, to be honest. It's not quite hell, but it's like the lowest level of purgatory.
We're listening to Dawn FM.
No, because I love Dawn FM. Dawn FM is great. The Coyotes are not. I do love the reference, though. I do.
You're welcome for that reference.
No, I greatly appreciate that.
Man, this team. It's so hard to talk about this team because they're not a team. Literally, they're trying to trade Jacob Chikrin. It's literally just firing the guy. It's not even, and I know I'm rehashing points from when I was listening to Steve and Adam and Jesse talk about this, but like, that's what it is.
Do you know what they need? They need a spoken word poem from Jim Carrey.
Yes, they do. They need a Phantom Regret.
Yeah. Phantom Regrets by the Coyotes. Everything.
Everything.
Just everything we've ever done.
Oh, God. Did you see Shannon's video, like his news video on it? Because he was wearing the Coyotes jersey with like the running wolf, because that looked the most like a college jersey.
Oh, that's smart.
It's so cool.
Do you know what I hate most about it?
It's a cool jersey. I'll give it that.
it takes away from how cool the arena is for Arizona State.
It takes away from how cool it is that they have prospects that play there.
Exactly.
Like literally think about being Shane's kid.
Man.
And, being like, oh, my NHL team's going to play where I already play at school. Can you fucking just like think about that for a second? Honestly.
It would be like,
how embarrassing is that?
It's so embarrassing. Could you imagine a situation where the Sabres just couldn't play?
Where they just couldn't
keep making anymore, and they had to play at Harbor Center.
If they had to play at Canisius.
Yeah, if they played at Harbor Center in front of 2,000 people.
God.
I mean,
imagine if Columbus had to play at the Shot.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Dude, what do you do?
I don't know what you do. I remember saying that in, I think August. I was like, yeah.
Literally, are they gonna just have to write a blank check and apologize to Gila River and like write an apology letter to the fucking city? And what do you do?
The answer is you relocate. I think we're finally seeing that that's the only solution to this.
Do they okay, is it permanent? Are they is Houston going to get a team? Is, are we going to get a team?
I don't see the NHL
else?
expanding anytime soon. The NHL is not going to expand. They're at 32.
Well, no.
So if Houston's going to get a team, it's going to be through relocation, and it's more than likely going to be the Coyotes.
Well, they have owners that are willing to take them.
I think the NHL needs to look into it.
And then there's Quebec City, which, they're begging for it. And they've been doing that for over a decade, begging for the Nordiques to come back.
Right. Which I think it would make more sense for a team like the Panthers to relocate there, but the Panthers are at least doing okay financially.
The Panthers are at least actually succeeding now.
They're at least having the on-ice success that they can produce some sort of revenue once they get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoff revenue will save them.
What's weird is they're not even doing bad enough to even get Shane anymore. Granted, they'll still be in the lottery, but it's like.
Yeah, no, they're going to be they'll be in the top 3 for it, I believe. But still, they're going to have what their lowest odds because
Montreal's really putting a challenge to them on that.
Let's look at Montreal's got 23 points in 42 games. The Coyotes have 24 points in 42 games.
Oof. Poor Berkshire, eh?
So they're second right now.
Yeah.
They could still get it, but either way.
Yeah.
You know what's nice to see?
What?
Chicago's got 39 points in 44 games, so they're doing bad enough. We're going to get a good pick out of them, but they're not doing bad enough that we'll get screwed out of it.
There we go.
With them getting like a top 2 pick and
then keeping it, yeah. Give us
best case scenario. That pick becomes a 3rd overall pick.
Give us 6.
That'd be great.
But yeah, it's just really confusing right now. I'm sure we're going to get more details on that at some point.
Yeah.
But it's just sad. This was one of Bettman's first things that he wanted to do was make hockey succeed in Arizona.
You know what? He needs to cut his losses. His whole goal and objective was we want hockey to work in the desert.
In the desert, yes.
It's working in Vegas. That should be good enough. I think you should move the Coyotes. There is one last topic I do want to talk about that's not hockey related.
Well, we do have one topic that we're going to wrap on that is hockey related.
We should wrap on that one for like last topic, but I do want to address something real quick.
Okay.
That I think is incredibly important for all sports.
For all sports? Oh, is this
the greatest athlete?
Is this Brady?
Yep. Yeah. Unbelievable career.
Dude, the best career. And we didn't even know, he was taking it day by day. We called that last episode when we were talking about the championship games or the divisional games. And it was just this was weirdly out of nowhere.
It didn't feel like he was just going to retire. I thought he had another year or two in him.
He said he wanted to play till he was 45.
Now, I have my own theory on what's going to happen.
This
isn't it. He's retiring for a year.
Is he pulling a Mike Fisher?
No, I think he's going to take a year off, and then I think next season, him and Sean Payton are going to team up. Galaxy braining a move.
Dude, imagine that.
That would be unbelievable.
This is such a weird phase of retirement for quarterbacks, though, eh? Because it's like Ben and
Brady, yeah. Last year we had Phillip Rivers. Year before that we had Eli.
Drew.
Yeah, Drew Brees. Yeah, no, like all of our favorite great quarterbacks growing up are all now leaving.
And I mean, we knew Tom was going to leave sooner or later, but it felt like this guy's immortal.
It did. Because it wasn't like he retired like Peyton did, where he did win a Super Bowl his last season, but his season was so abysmal statistically. It didn't feel like Tom was going to retire because he led the league in passing yards. Like he was still great.
It didn't feel like he was going to retire because he's Tom fucking Brady.
Exactly.
And he can't retire not on top. And yet, I said that. He can't retire without winning one more time.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Man.
Still, great career to Tom.
The NFL landscape's going to be really weird. With that one guy gone.
One guy is gone, and now the whole league has changed.
Yeah. It's now passed the torch to Patty officially, to Josh Allen, to Joey Burrow.
Yep. Justin Fields, hopefully. I pray.
I mean, as an OSU fan, I pray.
If the Bears ruin Justin Fields, I will never forgive them.
Quick little Buckeye thing. JT Barrett went to the Canadian Football League.
Good for him.
He's doing things. Final thing. Yesterday was the day King Henrik in the rafters at Madison Square Garden.
And as I mentioned, they honored him the best way they could by letting him down.
One last time.
Yep.
Man.
And you know what I find hilarious about it?
What?
They lost to Cam Talbot.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
God, full circle.
That was kind of funny. Wasn't one of his old backups. But Zuccarello had a goal in that game.
Well, that was the funny thing that I was going to bring up. He was on the, they had him with the guys on the play-by-play. doing his analyst thing, and Zuccarello had the puck, and then you heard Henrik go, "You don't want to let that guy score," and then Zook immediately scored.
That's pretty funny because those two were like best friends. Like,
yeah, I know. I saw a tweet that was like, who's going to be more emotional, Rangers fans or Matt Zuccarello?
Definitely Zook. And he scored for him to honor him and helped contribute to the Rangers losing.
Just turn the knife there on a really special night, eh?
Yeah, because I think it's hilarious.
It's pretty wild.
Letting Henrik Lundqvist down in a big game.
We did have one more jersey retirement happen the other day as well. In Dallas.
Who'd they retire?
Sergei Zubov.
I didn't see that. Good for him.
Yeah.
God, they took this long to retire his number.
Beats me.
God, that's surprising. Wow. I just naturally would assume that it was already up there.
Dude, I found this out before we started recording. I was like, oh, good for Sergei.
That's strange. I definitely would have thought that they would have already had that up, but I'm good for him.
I thought they would have done that like 5 years ago, right? At least
10. I mean, God. God, yeah. Wow. I mean, good for him. Glad that they finally did it. They did the right thing, but damn.
Took you long enough, Dallas.
For real.
Yeah. Biggest thing. It's just congrats to Henrik on an amazing career. He's still around the sport and he's not going anywhere.
How long does it take until he's in the Rangers front office?
Oh, dude, the King's gonna reign.
You couldn't wait to say that, could you?
I just thought of it just now.
I'm so proud of you.
For coming up with that on the spot.
Yeah. We should name that the podcast.
King's Reign.
Yeah. I think that's a good note to end on.
Okay. All right, everybody. We got a few games before our next show. I think it's 2, right?
Yeah.
Or are we going through all 3 before? No, I think it's just the 2.
Just 2 because we're doing Tuesday. So
right. Okay, so we'll just have the 2 to recap, and whatever the hell else happens with Kane starting his journey with the Oilers, and whatever the hell else happens. But we'll see you guys on Tuesday, and go have some fun dip, everybody.
yeah. Enjoy some football tomorrow. Go 49ers, go Bengals.
Who day, baby.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.